Good afternoon, guys, and welcome back to Thai Talk with Dan. Now, what I'm noticing from the emails that I receive is that there's a lot of guys that have been through the ringer back home with divorces, ex-girlfriends, and they've been through some nasty mess, lost a lot of money to their ex-wives, etc. And for some unbeknown reason, they decide to come over to Southeast Asia in order to find a better woman here that's going to treat them more fairly. Which brings us on to today's crazy story. Hello, Dan. My name is David. I will keep this short and to the point. Where do I start? I am a professional in the medical field. I am very successful in my field of practice and I enjoy what I do. I am very respected by my peers, but my personal life has been a disaster and a failure. With loss after loss, gone through 2 divorces and have lost a fortune. I should have learned by now. But what a fool I am, and a sucker above all. I guess I deserve it. I have only me to blame. I was fed up with Western women, so I thought a woman from the Eastern continent would be different. Oh boy, was I wrong. So, I met this woman on a dating site, and with her being from a cultural background, I thought she would be different. I got suckered into her stories, and being a caring and compassionate, big-hearted male, I became her benefactor, remodeled her house, paid for her mother's broken leg, medical bills, and continued to pay for their shortcomings, and even bought this woman a brand new SUV, Subaru, fully loaded. I even made 3 trips to Malaysia, 3 times at my expense, and the 4th time made a trip to marry her in Singapore. The very next week after we were married, she was a total different person. I came back home to the USA, and ever since she has been extremely disrespectful, calling me all sorts of names, using profanity, and refused to acknowledge that I did anything for her or her mother. And she drives around in the new SUV like she bought it out of her own earnings. She even stated she was going to burn all my belongings that I had left behind at her house that I paid to renovate. She was so cocky to say she was going to have a bonfire. She has avoided to communicate with me for the past 2 months. She has gone so far to say that I can't even sleep with her and I have a tickler, which I know is not true, as God is my witness. So I have avoided calling her, texting her, or even stooping down to her level. I have spent $98,000 of my hard-earned money. I am no big shot, but I work very hard and smart. I put in every week at least 58 hours at work, and I even mentioned it to her. Do you really feel good to take my hard-earned money and do this to me? Her reply to me was, I have not taken anything. You are a liar. At that point, I knew it is not worth talking to her. I hope this story will help men out there. Women are evil. I have been working overtime to recuperate my losses and save up all over again. I am welcoming to any advice and criticism back from you, Dan, and your viewers. Thank you, Dan, for your wonderful good work and your inspirational channel. I watch it all the time, although I just found it a month ago. Thank you again, Dan. God bless you and your family. Right, David, where do I start, mate? Well, firstly, thank you for the best wishes and thank you for being open and honest in your email. I will tell you now, you're not on your own with how you've been treated by this woman. A lot of them, when they're annoyed or they want the relationship to end or you've done something wrong that they can't forgive, they can turn evil and they can be very, very horrible to all of us. Yeah, it's just the way they are, unfortunately. They don't think about what you've done for them in the past because they live in the present day. They don't really think about the future all that much, really. They seem to be a species that just looks at life on a day-to-day basis, which can be a good thing, but also a bad thing as well. So they don't tend to reflect on all the good that you have done for them. And the way they look at it is that they've been nice to you, they've been warm to you, they've slept in your bed, lived with you, been around for you. So they've earned every single dollar, cent, penny, and pound from you. So there is no remorse there. And when you expect remorse from a woman over here, it's difficult to receive it. It's just not their style, unfortunately, from what I've noticed anyway. So yeah, you did all these things and you couldn't get your head around how she basically disregarded all the nice things that you did and looked at you as the bad guy. And there's nothing I can really say in regard to it that will make you feel any better. There's no explanation for it. It just is what it is. They live day to day, and unless you're greasing their palm with a load of money that day, you're not going to get anything out of them whatsoever, and they'll happily move on, not bat an eyelid, and crack on to the next mark, unfortunately. So yeah, it's not good whatsoever. Now, with you being a very soft, big-hearted individual, the last place you want to come to is here because you will be taken advantage of, unfortunately. You know, you already had a bad do back in your own home country, and then you've brought your big heart, your warm nature, your friendly attitude over here to Southeast Asia. And yeah, a woman's looked at you more than likely as an easy mark, got what she can from you, and she's always been cold-hearted. If she can act like that with everything that you've done for her and be super cold and not even say a thank you or try to end the relationship in a nice way, obviously she doesn't care and she's just always been out for herself. And you live and you learn and you move on. You've got to be very careful and look at the type of women that you normally go for. Are you going for these type of women on the way that they look, or are you going for these type of women for what's inside? When you're having a bad do like you're having, David, with women, you need to start looking on the inside instead of the outside, because I'm presuming that's what you're doing. Or at least find like a 50-50, somebody that looks okay, not like a supermodel, and somebody who's ideally nicer on the inside, and then things can work. You've got to find common ground. You've got to find somebody who's as nice natured and warm hearted as you are. Otherwise you're just always going to be taken advantage of, unfortunately. So yeah, it does act like a warning to men out there, and you're not on your own, because it happens to a lot of guys. There's a lot of stories that I can't share. People send me stories in similar to yours that don't wish to have them featured on the channel, but I can tell you that yeah, this has happened to so many other men, where they can be quite cold and calculated once they decide to end the relationship. So I'm very sorry it's happened to you, but don't give up, mate. Don't give up. There are good ones out there. You just need to change your spec. Don't just go for looks, and find somebody with a heart as nice as your own, and then hopefully everything else will come together as well, and hopefully your next relationship can be a good one. So don't lose hope, keep the faith, and crack on. Right guys, if you've got a similar story and you want to share it on the channel, then as always, get your email sent in to thaitalkwithdan@gmail.com. The rain has passed now, there's no more thunder and lightning, the sun is back out and it's starting to heat up again. So this will probably be my last video for today. Take it easy guys, keep your guard up with women, don't allow yourselves to be used and abused by anyone. Always feel and think that you are better than that and be better than that. So best of luck. Ciao for now guys, bye bye.